Welcome in, everyone, to another week of TinChattin. It is week 3 for us. 9 games are in the books. I'm Drew Fry, joined by Mike Maz. Mike, just these past 9 games, this first full road series, what were some of the main takeaways from you?
Number one, the fact that the TinCaps split 6 games on the road with Dayton.
Yeah.
You know, there's old saying that if you can win half your games on the road, do better than that at home, you're going to be in the fight for winning a title.
That's what's happened so far. 2-1 at home, 3-3 on the road.
3-3 on the road. There's been some, for the most part, very good pitching.
Yes.
That's helped the TinCaps on their recent trip over to Dayton. Even though the team offensively had struggles, hitting under the Mendoza line, under 200 as a team,
right.
and the team got shut out twice,
but
they came up with 3 big wins,
yeah.
3 big wins.
It's about hitting at the right moments, and
correct.
They generally did that.
Yeah, so the fact that they went 3-3 on the road trip, and now they get to come back home, and it's going to be an interesting week this week because the TinCaps at 5-4 are tied for second place in the Eastern Division, 1 game behind Lake County. And it's the captains who are making the trip over here to Parkview Field for the 6-game series that starts Tuesday night.
Yeah, that'll be a big week ahead. I know it's really early in the season, but as you mentioned, you're still sort of looking at those, the playoff implications. The standings is the big thing to see which team can cement itself as an early front runner to grab that playoff spot.
One other footnote, it was the Lake County captains who won the Midwest League Championship a season ago.
Right.
They were the victorious team in the playoffs. So, to be the best, you have to beat the best. And numbers-wise, the best is coming to town this week. And we'll see how the TinCaps fare in their second homestand of the season.
Exactly. I mean, going back to last week, we talked about, hitting at the right times was a big thing. I know early on in that series, there was that 6th run in late in the game, big rally in the 8th inning just to pick up 1 win right there, and it's one of those that I know it's been a big focal point of this team, but no matter what the score is, fighting like it's the 9th inning every time.
And Sunday's game, the series finale, TinCaps jumped out early, and then we saw patience come into play. The bullpen really did their thing.
Yes.
Dayton threatened in the 8th and the 9th inning, but the TinCaps maintained their 2-run lead, won the game 3-1. Although it got dicey for a little bit, but Tyson Neighbors finally slammed the door shut in the 9th inning. So, but it's nice to see at the early part of this season the maturation of this ball club.
Yes.
We didn't know what was going to happen when they came out of spring training down in Arizona up here. We didn't know what to expect. What we did know is we had a young manager who managed a lot of these guys that were here now that were at Lake Elsinore a season ago. Storm went 71-58, won the first half-South title in the California League, made it to the California League Championship Series. They lost in a winner-take-all Game 3, 2-1. So you got the combination, and we talked about it last week a little bit, a manager who is familiar with a lot of his players.
Yes.
And I think that can be advantageous. And the winning culture that team in Lake Elsinore had a season ago, trying to bring that east
and incorporate that into
here to
Fort Wayne
Indiana.
Culture. Exactly.
And what you have had so far, and granted it's early, you mentioned it, TinCaps take 2 out of 3 at home against Lansing to start the year.
Yes.
Go on the road for the first time. And it's a different animal when you're on the road as opposed to being at home.
Definitely.
You're on a bus, you're in a hotel, 6-day road trip or 6 games, in a row. The timing at home, the team usually takes batting practice and infield first. Then they go back to the clubhouse. They have their pregame spread, and
you've got your own clubhouse at home. You're familiar with the dugout.
You're familiar with
layouts,
and so forth. And on the road, you have to wait for the other team to do that.
Right.
And so now what do? Now you got to adjust what you do and when you do it. And you've also got the fans.
Yes.
We have been so proud of our fans here in Fort Wayne, going back to day one when the team was known as the Wizards in 1993.
Right, long before Parkview Field was standing right here.
It's often been said that fans can become the 10th man on a baseball team.
Right.
And it works both ways. When you're on the road and the other team has
Can pose
their
a challenge,
fans,
yeah.
and I'll just give you an example in Sunday's game. TinCaps had the lead, 2-1. Then they got it 3-1.
Right.
Now you're getting late, and all of a sudden you get some Dragons that got on base. Now the crowd gets themselves whipped into a frenzy.
Yeah.
And again, it takes patience, and it takes the leadership, and I'm thinking about the skipper, Lucas Ray. I'm thinking about the pitching coach, Thomas Eshelman,
Right.
going out and talking to whichever pitcher he had that come in from the bullpen.
Yeah.
And you got to settle your pitcher down, your catcher down. Those two set the first example, and then hopefully the infield and the outfield can follow. A little bit ironic, TinCaps won on Sunday in spite of committing 4 errors.
Wow.
You don't like to see 4 errors in a ball game.
No, but to be able to overcome that is also a testament to
Correct.
that mentality.
Yeah, and they did it with pitching, and as you said, timely, opportunistic hitting.
Right.
Hitting when they needed one. They did it. They got the win. And now we'll see how they fare at home this week.
Well, even small things I've noticed both in the home series and on the road of multiple runs just scored on like wild pitches. It's a lot of that sort of fundamentals that really comes into play of you see a runner on third, you see the pass ball break for home. And we've seen that multiple times. We've seen the stolen bases. We've seen the heads up plays on defense. And it's those small things that don't show up in the box scores that still end up mattering the most in the end.
I've used a phrase for years, and I don't know where I got it from. You do whatever it takes, and I say by hook, crook, or schnook. I don't know what schnook is, but I've used
it rhymes.
that.
That's what matters.
I've used that phrase.
Yeah.
You do whatever. You foul pitches off. You get on base somehow. Maybe indirectly on a rare occasion you lean an elbow and catch a fastball. On the inner side, you
Find
get
a way
on
to see
base.
base runners.
Yeah, you either take pitches, borderline pitches, and get the call from the umpire. You get on base.
Yeah.
Now what do? You hope the guy behind you can come up, and you got to be smart. You got to listen to your coaches at first and third if you're a base runner, and if there's a ball hit, use your baseball instincts. If you feel it's going to drop down, put it into gear.
Right.
You got a coach that starts waving a hand. You beeline it for the next base. Take what you can get.
Yeah.
Become the aggressor. And if you do that, more often than not, you'll succeed.
Yeah.
And you can cause the defense to make a mistake. That's what you want offensively.
Right.
Let the other team make a mistake.
Yes. Putting pressure on the other team's defense, on the other team's pitching staff, making them have to make the pitches on you.
Yeah, and it's the mindset that you go in your preparation. And in today's game of baseball, it's kind of unique. Back in the day when I played so long ago.
A few years.
Just a few years. But, okay, I was a left-hand hitter. I'm hoping a right-hander would pitch.
Right.
And just go out, swing the bat, and hit the ball. It's not that way anymore. It's become a science almost.
Yeah.
The use of videotape is unreal.
Yeah, just all the mechanics that can be dissected.
You pick up an associate's degree in baseballology
right.
because of what you do.
Yeah.
In practice, before games, or if there's an off day like today. Normally the team's not around here. Some may come in and take extra batting practice in the cage.
People in the film room.
And you watch film and you have meetings, whether it's the pitching staff, whether it's pitchers and catchers, whether it's, for hitting coach, whatever, different phases and facets of the game. But now you take all these things and try to put it together, and it's a matter of becoming a sponge.
Yeah.
And taking
absorbing it all.
Taking what comes.
Yes.
How you can better yourself, and if you better yourself, you can better the team.
Yeah, and I mean that a lot of it's associated with small ball. It isn't always that style,
True.
but that approach is definitely something that I think you're starting to see a bit of a resurgence of. For a while, it was 3 true outcomes: the strikeout, walk, or home run. just kind of across the sport. And I think that's sort of starting to balance back out again. And we're seeing that with the TinCaps now, who've picked up these 5 wins in 9 games. This is something we've discussed without a home run. The TinCaps have yet to put the ball over the fence. That doesn't mean that they're not scoring. In some cases they aren't, but in others they are finding ways to still score even without the use of the long ball.
And we've talked about it the last 2 weeks. It's pitching plus hitting plus defense.
Yeah.
You have to have at least 2 of those 3 that work.
Right.
To be successful. You'd love all 3, but at least get 2 of the 3. And
base running sort of factors into that hitting approach as well.
It does. And, we talk about hitting, and you and I talked before we started the segment. The TinCaps batted 167 in 6 games over in Dayton. 167 is not a high number.
Right.
But they got some key hits.
Yes.
And so, as you said, when you get the hits, can be beneficial. But the TinCaps also got some good pitching.
That's big.
As we speak, the TinCaps start the week. Best team earned run average in the Midwest League at 2.08.
That's certainly a nice stat to have up there.
Correct.
And a big part of that, we've discussed him, is Emmanuel Pinellas, who has been dominant in his 2 starts so far. He started opening day for the team, had experience on this TinCaps roster last year, and I know before opening day we got the chance to chat with him, and he discussed the honor of it and knowing that the team trusted him. He also talked about, though, hoping that if he can kind of get some momentum in these first few starts, he maybe moves his way on up through the system. So far, he's showing that he has that ability.
Outstanding performance at Dayton a few nights ago, going 5 innings, walking 1, striking out 7, and seemed to be in complete control.
And that's hard to do over like a longevity in the minor leagues here, is getting, it's one thing you'll see pitchers who strike out like 4 and 2 1/2 inning, but then they get run from the game because they've also walked like 8 in that process.
Yeah.
But no, Pinellas looked very comfortable on the mound.
And that's a key. If your pitcher is comfortable,
yes,
your catcher is comfortable, and they gel.
Yeah.
Again,
the infielders
we'll be talking about this during the course of the season.
Yeah.
But the relationship between a pitcher and a catcher is the most important relationship on the diamond itself. If those 2 are in sync and the pitcher's throwing the ball well and the catcher is smart enough to pick the spots and pick the pitches he wants this pitcher to throw, pitcher throws strikes, the defense feels more comfortable.
Exactly.
And if the defense feels comfortable, they can turn a couple of double plays or make an outstanding play in the outfield or throw a runner out on the base paths.
Yeah. Well, you also know that where you're lined up is where you're supposed to be and where things are going to work out. If you know the pitcher is trying to get the, get the hitter to like ground out to the second base side, second baseman, shortstop can set up accordingly. If you don't trust your pitcher necessarily to do that, ball might come rocketing at the third baseman, everyone's unprepared. In this case, the defense is comfortable and the pitcher is in control.
Correct. And all those intangibles, the ultimate result is putting it together and walking off the diamond with a win in your back pocket.
Yeah. Well, we've talked about the series that we just saw. Some of the key hitters, I know the team average was below par, to say the least here, but as we talked about, some of these big hits, who were some of the main standouts from you, not only in this past series, but the first one, just 9 games into the season at the plate?
There's a few of them, Drew. I think about third baseman Rossman Verdugo, who had 3 doubles in the series with Dayton.
And that's after he wasn't necessarily showing the star power in that first series against Lansing, but being able to sort of stay on his game to get those hits and those extra base hits, which are quite important.
Someone you and I were both talking about and were impressed with, Braden Carpathios.
Yeah.
Whether he be playing in left field or right field. A couple of days ago, he had 3 hits in a game.
Yeah.
And
he's drawing walks too.
He's drawing walks, and he had 3 hits, and 2 of those 3 hits were to the opposite field. Left-handed hitter, going with the pitch, using the knowledge he gained from scouting report, watching videotape, or seeing how the pitcher throws to some of the other batters.
Right.
And he has slapped the ball well going the other way. You can name some others, because everyone on the team is important.
Oh, of course.
But those two come to mind in a hurry for me, Verdugo
Yeah.
and Carpathios, and now we'll see if some of the others can contribute. I'll make one quick note. Addison Kopak, the Sunday catcher, if
Right.
you will.
Yeah.
He's played in 2 games both on Sundays, and this past Sunday, he was the hitting hero.
Yeah.
He drove in a run with a single and drove in a run with a sacrifice fly. And he called an awfully good game because the TinCaps won the game by a score of 3-1.
Right.
So he contributed in a couple of different ways.
Making use of the opportunities no matter when you get them. I mean, that's what coaches are going to recognize. That's
Yeah.
what, the organization is going to recognize is if you can take advantage of the opportunities you get, you might start getting more opportunities.
True. Yeah, the better you play, the more you play.
Exactly.
And we'll see how it goes. And this is going to be an interesting series this week. It'll be
Yeah.
the first, what we're going to call the full series, 6-game
Right.
series here at home.
At home. Exactly.
And Tuesday through Sunday.
And the weather's better
Knock on.
so far.
Knock on for Michael.
I'll use my noggin.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Or wood or whatever. But it's kind of funny when I think back the last few seasons, the TinCaps have not gotten off to the best of starts, and part of it could be attributed to the weather. You have spring training in Arizona, where it's a whole lot warmer in February and March.
Like
than
Elsinore's in the California
yeah,
League, so
than it
players
is
coming
here.
up aren't used to it.
And now these players come to the Midwest, and a couple of players had never seen snow before they got here.
Right.
And so you got to adapt to the different types of weather conditions. But we've noticed in the past that there have been some tough starts at home, partially due to the weather. But once the weather breaks and starts getting warmer,
Yeah.
then a lot of these players who are warm weather bred is what the term I'll use. They might be from Florida or Georgia or Texas or California, or they might be from
From another country.
Cuba
Yeah.
or Mexico or whatever.
Exactly.
They start feeling more comfortable. The warmer the weather, they feel more at home.
Yeah.
More at home, more relaxed they
Loosens you up
become.
a little bit too,
More
right?
relaxed they
movement.
become, the more fun they have
Yeah.
playing the game. And I think so. We have to talk to the weather people.
Right.
Get them in here. Get the weather to fall our way.
Yeah.
But again, an opportunity to play at home, get more comfortable in your surroundings, an opportunity to go up against a team that won the championship last year.
Yeah.
That should be an impetus to play well and to get your fans involved. And all teams say it, we know it. We got the best fans in the world here at Parkview Field.
It is an electric atmosphere once the crowd is filled out, and when you get into those big moments, especially TinCap score runs, you get the music going.
Yeah, and look at some what I call TinCap alumni who have moved on to bigger and better things. And,
Yeah.
and I look at people like Fernando Tatis Jr. or Jackson Merrill, or we can use some of the pitchers. You and I have talked about it before, the starting rotation in 2013, all 4 of them have been in the major
Incredible.
leagues.
Yeah.
Some are still in the big leagues today,
Right.
like a Max Fried or a Joe Ross or a Zach Eflin,
Yeah.
amongst others. And they felt it, and they performed,
Yeah.
and performed well enough to get promotions, or in some cases, get traded to other organizations, but still a chance to show what they can do.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this week at home, and
Yes.
we'll see if the crowds come out. I know they're still not going to be the biggest crowds until school gets out. We got a few weeks before that happens.
Especially the weekday games,
But we still got some night games, Tuesday through Friday.
yeah.
Saturday and Sunday are both 105 first pitches. So a chance for fans to come out and learn more about this team and watch this team develop. We talked about it before. The culture is trying to be set by the current coaching staff, and they utilize what happened at Lake Elsinore a season ago.
Right.
A winning culture, winning games, finding ways to win.
Yes.
We just saw it happen in Dayton last week.
Even if you're down 4 with a few innings to go.
Yeah, so now
Making
there's
sure to keep the energy up.
So now there's a chance to do it at home.
Yeah.
And if we do it at home, the fans are happy, and all of a sudden they tell other people,
Oh, the community's going to recognize
and we
that.
can start packing this place.
Yeah.
And as you well know, when you get a full house in here and the team plays well, There's nothing quite like it.
Oh yeah, I mean, we saw the sellouts last year.
Yeah.
It was one after the other, it seemed like.
So hopefully we can get that started and continue this establishment of a winning culture. And it all starts Tuesday night.
Yeah.
And runs through the week.
Exactly. Well, as we wrap up, we want to do our question of the week. And this one I think is a fun one because we've talked about it. TinCaps have played 9 games. The team does not have a home run yet. Someone's going to, presumably, break through and do it. So we're going to make our picks. Who do you think is going to be the first TinCap to put one over the fence?
I remember early last season when William Cedeno had a game-winning walk-off grand slam homer.
That's certainly something.
and
that'll get the crowd
so
going.
that's the person that I'm choosing. It could be anybody on the field, but again, this is not the easiest ballpark to hit a home run in, but it is possible.
You need some strength to do it.
If the weatherman cooperates, the prevailing wind here at Parkview Field is hitting a ball to right center.
Yeah.
We've got some pop in the bat. It could be someone like Cedeno. It could be somebody like Carpathios.
Well, and hitting from the left side of the plate.
It's only 318 feet down the right field line to the foul pole.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's just a hard liner.
But Cedeno is my choice. Who is yours?
So it's tough because I feel like the natural instinct would be to say like Leo DeVries, the top prospect on the team. We can talk about him all week long. And I believe that we were just looking this up. He was leading Lake Elsinore last season. Yeah. I am still feeling Carpathios though, and I think it's because he's got a triple on the season. He's already got a handful of extra base hits, and as we mentioned, that porch out there in left field or in right field, if he can get it down the foul line, he's shown his strength to both sides of the field so far. So I think he's going to be the one with the hottest bat. I think he's going to be the one to put it over the fence first.
I hope one of us is right, and that the team can get off the schneid. They did hit 92 home runs as a team a year ago.
Yeah.
And
they're due for at least one at some point here.
And oh, by the way, the TinCaps have yet to hit a home run. Their opponents this week, Lake County Captains, as we speak, lead the Midwest League in home runs with 12.
Right. So we could see some balls flying out of here.
Hopefully it coming out of the first base dugout.
Right. Exactly. Get the fans going, get that music going once again.
And how?
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. We've got the sun shining on us right now, so hopefully it stays that way for as many of the games this week as we can get. And, of course, we'll be keeping a careful eye on how this goes, and we'll be back here somewhere in Parkview Field. Right now we're right behind home plate, and we'll find a new spot next week. Looking forward to it. That's going to do it for us this week. Mike Maz, I'm Drew Fry. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next time.